The FA Cup has always reached the parts that other competitions fail to reach. Today, the Cup reached out to the people once again. Gate receipts broken at West Brom, at Bradford, at non-league Sutton. The stories of those matches coming right up. Good evening. We have action from three of the day's third-round FA Cup ties, and superb action it is too. Sutton United last played a First Division club in the Cup 19 years ago when they were swamped by the then mighty Leeds 6-0. Today, Sutton face First Division opposition again, the 1987 Cup winners, Coventry City. Spurs, the club that Coventry beat in that final, last played away to Bradford City in the Cup in 1970. Mr. Greaves kept them in business that day. Spurs' current G-man Paul Gascoigne was still not fit for today's tie at Valley Parade, where Second Division Bradford City had already beaten Everton in the Littlewoods Cup. Our third match is a repeat of the 1968 Cup final, when West Brom beat Everton with this Jeff Astle goal. Astle and the rest of that victorious Cup-winning side were amongst a crowd of 31,000 at the Hawthorns today to see the current team take on Everton again. Albion are led by a man who knows about winning Cup medals, Brian Talbot. Talbot's leadership on and off the field has already taken West Brom from 18th to top of the Second Division in 12 weeks. But first, it's Sutton against Coventry. Non-league Sutton playing in the third round for the third time. Coventry currently 5th in the First Division. John Motson commentates.
Sutton United welcomed by a capacity 8,000 crowd. It's a big day for the GM Vauxhall Conference Club, especially for their centre-forward Lenny Dennis. He's played in the World Cup qualifiers for Jamaica. He's scored in every round of the FA Cup this season, and now he shares the same pitch as his favourite player, Coventry's number 9, Cyril Regis, who played here at Gander Green Lane 12 years ago when he was a virtual unknown with Hayes. Well, the team news shows that Sutton centre-half Stuart Hemsley unluckily failed a fitness test this morning, so Vernon Pratt plays at number 5. Still, there are 9 survivors from Sutton's third-round adventure last season against Middlesbrough. As for Coventry, they field the side that beat Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 on Monday. David Bennett and Lloyd McGrath are now both back after each breaking a leg. So there are 7 survivors from the cup-winning team of 2 seasons ago, plus Keith Houchin, who is one of the subs today. The true flavour of the FA Cup. Coventry City in sky blue, who played at Wembley in front of nearly 100,000 people less than 2 years ago, playing from right to left. David Bennett on the ball for the number 7 against the team from the GM Vauxhall Conference in yellow, Sutton United. First cross in for Coventry. Sedgley's there, and it came off Golly, and Sedgley again. And once more, Nigel Golly in the way to concede the corner. Sedgley, who went close. Well, that could have been the start that Sutton didn't want. There's Kilcline, and Regis nearly in there. Heavily sanded penalty area, but good playing surface here at Sutton, helped perhaps by a little overnight rain. Softened it up rather. Sutton's normal crowd here about 750. There's Rogers and Hanlon closing in. Smith. Down the line for David Phillips. Regis. Free kick. Nigel Golly on Cyril Regis. Well, so far, Sutton have seemed most concerned when the ball has been played across their penalty area in the air. We'll see if it happens again here. Speedy is up well, and Kilcline is there, and straight at the keeper from the Coventry captain. Just been restored to the captaincy, Brian Kilcline, and he'll feel there that he might have scored. David Speedy, I think you'll see a very good jump on the far side of the area, getting up tremendously well, and Kilcline might have placed that better. Here's Mickey Stevens. And there's Dennis again. McKinnon waiting in the centre, so is Hanlon. Corner off Kilcline. First corner for Sutton United. At the heart of what's proving a good little spell for them. And we'll see Golly and Pratt go forward now. They were working on these near-post corners only this morning on a little pitch over at the back of the ground. Stevens to take. And Steve Sedgley out as far as Rodgers with the header back in. McKinnon is there. And Hanlon! And Ibizovic saved it, and Dennis! So close for Sutton. Matthew Hanlon wondering how it stayed out. It's going to be a corner on the far side again, but great excitement here. Sedgley again, the defender. David Phillips breaks away for a very relieved Coventry City, while the Sutton supporters debate that goal-mouth scramble and how close their team came. Smith to Speedy. And here's Regis offside. Well, Steve Ibizovic here had some work to do. First of all, Sedgley clears the corner. The shot coming in is from Paul Rodgers. A header, in fact, back in. And then, onside, it falls for Hanlon. That's a good save. And the angle wasn't in Dennis's favour, it was a corner. And McKinnon to Stevens. And both Dennis and McKinnon here against Kilcline for the moment. This is McKinnon. Three waiting and a corner. Well, what a good time this would be to get a goal. Especially for the part-timers. Pratt and Golly in the 6-yard box waiting. And Golly, and Rains, and a goal! And they have done it! And Tony Rains, the left-back, is the hero of Sutton, for the time being at least. Now, this morning, on a bleak park pitch, just behind the ground, they were working on this corner, and how it's paid off. The man to flick it on is Golly. And Rains, the number 3, puts that header past the man on the line. Kilcline and Sutton are in front. It's the 42nd minute, and Kilcline couldn't keep it out. He only helped it in. Well, what will Coventry do about that? Now, Regis. Bennett. And away by Pratt from Speedy. It's going to be a corner to Coventry in the dying seconds of the first half here. This is Phillips to Smith. Here comes Regis, and now Kilcline. Golly's header out to McKinnon. And half-time with Sutton United leading First Division Coventry City to the delight of their supporters, and how fitting that the goal should be scored by long-serving Tony Rains, who with his brother have played some 1,300 matches for this club, but Tony hasn't played in one perhaps quite like this against such powerful opposition. 1-0 at half-time to Sutton. something that is common to the level of football that Sutton play at, and indeed to the First Division where Coventry are, is the success of the near-post corner. It works again in this cup tie. So hard to defend against. Here's Smith for Coventry. In the back, Kilcline on Dennis. Rains with the free kick for Sutton. Up goes Dennis. Here's Stevens. Well, the one thing Coventry won't want to do is concede another corner after what happened in the 42nd minute. This is Bennett. And now Sedgley. And Phillips has made a run from left back, and there's danger here for Sutton United. And Phillips has put Coventry City level. After 52 minutes, the Welsh international timing his run perfectly from deep. This was a splendid run by Phillips. Look at the way he bisects those two defenders, and he gets on the end of it on his right foot, which he favours, although he's playing left back today, and he turned that comfortably past Trevor Roffey. So 7 minutes after half-time, Sedgley made the running here for Coventry, saw what was on, placed that ball perfectly in the space, and David Phillips scores. That's a good-looking ball. David Phillips again. Now Bennett has gone to the left to have a run at the other fullback, no doubt, Jones. And he seems to have outpaced him. But there was cover on from little Phil Dawson, midfield player, and he's found Lenny Dennis. That was a foul by Sedgley. Robin Jones to take the free kick for Sutton. Kilcline was stretching a bit there, and happy in the end to just get it away. Mickey Stevens takes the corners on both sides, so we could look for another good delivery from him. Here's Dawson. Oh, and driven in! And number 11, Matthew Hanlon, followed that in. And Sutton have done it again from a corner kick, bringing this little ground to life once more. And the Coventry defence was standing still. They've restored their lead. And Hanlon salutes the crowd. It was the decoy, really, from the corner. Coventry were expecting a direct cross. Dawson floats the ball in. It's flicked on, and Hanlon is the player who finishes it off from close in. 59 minutes gone. Good ball in by Dawson. Ogrizovic lost it, and Hanlon was there. 2-1 to Sutton. In by Rains. Oh, what a chance again here! Oh, Hanlon again. Could have been 3-1. Well, this lad's 22. He works as a master bricklayer. And he's certainly building something here for Sutton United, because he's sneaking in on the blind side of the Coventry defence, and they're not picking him up. Smith. And there goes Speedy, and here comes Regis, surely! Oh! How did he miss that? I wouldn't think even he's sure. The ball delivered by Smith. It's the touch from Speedy that sets Regis up. He seemed to get away from Golly. Oh, the goalkeeper on the legs, wasn't it? Well, no corner has been given, but I just wonder if that goes down as a good save by Trevor Roffey. In the meantime, Cyril Regis has made his last contribution to this cup tie, because with that shot, he is substituted. The man who's come on to replace Regis is Keith Houchin, who tends to be a lucky mascot when it comes to the FA Cup. I wonder if he will be today. Yes, I'm sure that touched the keeper. Speedy to Sedgley. Now then, Coventry have got a break. They've got 5 players to his right, and off Golly, and they appeal for handball, but it's given the other way against David Speedy. to the mighty relief of Sutton United and to Speedy's disbelief. I think he was penalised for a foul here on Nigel Golly, David Speedy, or did he handle it first? I think perhaps it hit Speedy's arm before it caught the number 4. 8 minutes to go. Coventry have got to take risks now. They've got to just throw players forward and risk the fact that Sutton may score again at the other end. This is Smith. It's a teasing cross. Houchin's up there, and Roffey onto the bar, and Sedgley, no! Play on, and McGrath and Bennett get in each other's way. How did that stay out? Well, that was the great escape as far as Sutton were concerned, and Coventry with Barry Williams, whose nerves must have been on edge. He even took the pipe out of his mouth there, because this was the closest Coventry have been to making it 2-2. Houchin's header, keeper struggling a bit against Speedy, on the bar, Sedgley post and bar, would you believe, and then McGrath in Bennett's way. All of which might suggest to you that this is going to be Sutton's day, or perhaps it'll encourage Coventry in these last 7 minutes to find a way through and rescue this potentially calamitous situation for them. The possibility of the cup holders of 2 seasons ago going out on the ground of a team not even in the Barclays League, for whom Stevens is doing a useful job here now. Good cross. Time is running out for Coventry City. 6 minutes. David Phillips. Sedgley. It needed the flick on from McGrath, and he's found Smith. Houchin's in the middle. Chance perhaps here for Coventry. Oh, not with a cross like that. Poor delivery by Smith. However, it is going to be a corner. Speedy's up there again. Kilcline waiting. Corner. Sutton have got some anxious defending to do yet, that's for sure. They've got 5 minutes to survive. Trevor Peake has now come forward. Kilcline! Oh, off the line. Robin Jones, was it? The right back? Well, I think he was standing on the right-hand post and somehow rescued his goalkeeper and his side. Kilcline got the header down. Look at the flick up from the fullback. Kilcline again with the keeper who's gone down. Peake! Houchin couldn't get there. Hearts in their mouths now for these Sutton defenders. Trevor Peake lofted it back in, but it would seem that the Sutton goal with 4 minutes left is bearing a charmed life. Houchin against Golly. Wasn't the best of touches from the number 4, and Houchin will settle for the corner. And they've survived 3 or 4 close things from corner kicks, have Sutton, and Bennett will swing this one in again, looking perhaps for Kilcline or Peake. Houchin on the 6-yard line. 3 Sutton players go for it. Sedgley, goal kick. Anxious whistles starting to echo round the ground here at Gander Green Lane as the fans savour the real possibility of a cup shot in the Surrey stockbroker belt. Forward by Stevens. Well, I wouldn't think they've had a day quite like this down here before, and they may never have another one, who knows. They won't be closer than this after the disappointment of Leeds all those years ago here, beaten 6-0 Sutton then, and the bitter pill that they had to swallow last year up at Middlesbrough after doing so well. This could be their finest hour, but can Coventry cancel it out? Here's Bennett. And they may yet. This is Houchin. And Phillips. And Smith. And wide. He knows that with only 2 minutes left, that could prove a costly miss. And Barry Williams, who quotes Shakespeare and quotes Kipling, well, tomorrow morning, if it stays like this, the papers will be quoting the Sutton manager. After the ecstasy of Wembley, John Sillett is within touching distance of being on the other end of a cup sensation. Speedy. Phillips. Bennett has got a bit of space. He hasn't now. That was Paul Rodgers in the way. McKinnon couldn't control it, but Rodgers could. Well, it's going to have to be last gasp stuff now if Coventry City are going to save themselves, as 8,000 supporters, most of them, of course, following the underdogs, wonder just how much more time the referee will allow after the 90 minutes is up. Robin Jones at right back concedes the corner. This could be Coventry's last chance. Peak off the line again, this time I think by Rodgers. Smith wide again, sliced it. Well, Trevor Roffey in goal there has been mighty glad of the help of his own defenders on a couple of occasions when he could do nothing about it. They've scrambled a couple away from the line for him. In this tremendous cup tie atmosphere. And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. Barry Williams' finest moment. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side down in the stockbroker country. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. Twice in front, the second time they were able to hold on. Both goals from corners, and Sutton United write their name all over the third round of the FA Cup in 1989, following in the footsteps of teams in the past from outside the league who put out First Division opposition. There haven't been too many. When it happens, it's headline news, and the headlines today belong to Sutton United and Barry Williams. Wonderful scenes here. Barry Williams started his programme notes with a verse of poetry today, and he may feel that there's something poetic about the way his side went out and defeated a First Division side.
And Barry's with us now. An emotional day. You've just about recovered, I take it.
Oh yes, I think we are getting back to normal.
One of the most satisfying things about your win must be that you came back after Coventry had equalised, because that's when non-league sides tend to fade away, isn't it?
Yes, but I think it was the experience we had last year with our cup run against Aldershot, Peterborough, Middlesbrough. It gave the lads an indication of what to expect. So when we conceded that goal, they didn't let their heads drop, and they composed themselves and said, well, we must start again and work on the things that we know we can do, and that was very gratifying.
Here are the two goals. You were particularly pleased with the build-up, weren't you?
Yes, yes. It's nice to get a near-post header in, and the delivery was excellent. And of course, once you get the flick on at the near post, if you've got the people going into the right place at the right time, you score goals. This one was even better, because they were all expecting something entirely different. And we had two men possibly that could have scored, but a very, very good volley by Matthew Hanning. Right place at the right time.
You get a lot of publicity for being an ex-teacher of English and looking rather stoic and all the rest of it. What did you write in the programme today? Oh, look here now, look at this. You nearly went in the bath, didn't you?
Well, yes, but I just had my blazer cleaned, and I said that I didn't want to particularly get that wet, but the next thing was my receding hairline on the shampoo. Yes.
What did you write in the programme today, though? You usually put a bit of Shakespeare in, or was it Kipling today?
Well, it was Kipling today. I felt that we should pay tribute not only to to the players, but to the whole club, because we had an army of people working. Right. You know, the volunteers helping with the stewarding and the selling of the programmes. So I felt that little bit of Kipling was appropriate.
Yes, if you can keep your head and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
What about Coventry? How did they take the defeat there today?
Oh, they were very good, and they conducted themselves excellently, and it was very nice at the end of the game when their 2,000 fans at the Collingwood Road end, they just didn't leave despondently, but they stood and applauded the Sutton players off the field, and I thought that spoke volumes for the type of people they were, and they were true football supporters, accepting defeat and victory. And after all, they have won the cup but 2 years ago, so they know the joys, and now today they conducted themselves in the little despondency they must have felt at that result.
Well, that's marvellous, because football needs that sort of attitude.
Yes.
Who do you fancy in the next round? We must ask you that.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, what we would like is somebody at home, because we now know that nobody will enjoy the prospect of coming to Sutton United. You know, it was nice today too. Yesterday, I had a phone call from Bruce Rioch of Middlesbrough, who we had close ties with him last year, and he took the time out to wish us the very best of luck. And then the club itself sent us a telegram into the dressing room. So we appreciated that, because we made friends up there, and that was good.
Great day all round.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming in, Barry. Well, now we go to Valley Parade, where Second Division Bradford City had beaten Everton 3-1 in the Littlewoods Cup a few weeks ago. Today they were taking on Spurs, who had never failed to get beyond this third round of the FA Cup in the last 11 years. Second Division against First then, and Tony Gubber commentating.
4 First Division teams have lost cup ties at Valley Parade in the last 18 months, and there's a capacity 16,000 crowd to see if Tottenham can survive today, where Newcastle, Southampton, Oxford and most recently Everton have all lost. Spurs have already spent £4 million rebuilding half the team since that embarrassing 4th round FA Cup defeat at 3rd Division Port Vale last season. But the most expensive acquisition, £2 million, Paul Gascoigne, is still a spectator, having failed a late test on an injured ankle. It's a blow for Spurs as they face Second Division Bradford, who are unbeaten since that remarkable 3-1 victory over Everton in the Littlewoods Cup last month. Bradford make one change today. Gavin Oliver still injured, Greg Abbott at left back, and that means a move into more central defence for number 8 Lee Sinnott, the only Bradford player to have reached an FA Cup final with Watford in 1984. Unmistakable figure of George Courtney, the FIFA referee in charge today. Spurs in all white kick off the FA Cup campaign of 1989, and immediately a foul. Mark Leonard penalised, Tottenham with a free kick in the first few seconds. Gary Mabbott will go forward, and George Courtney has to bring his authority to bear in the opening 10 seconds. Waddle and Fenwick together with the free kick, an early opportunity to get the ball into Bradford's penalty area. Stewart. Now with chance to get in an early cross. Mabbott's header! Important early save by Paul Tomlinson. Stewart, who got the opening for the left foot cross, and Gary Mabbott, the skipper, out jumping the defence, and Tomlinson had to make an important save in the first 30 seconds. Jackson was in and continues a forward run, fed by Leonard. He's got Ormonroyd to look for. Here he is! Butters in to make an important tackle. He's done really well, Guy Butters, for Spurs since he came in to replace the injured Gary Stevens, and he never let Ian Ormonroyd get anywhere away from him. 6 is Evans, 3 is Abbott, 11 is Leonard. Good build-up by Bradford. Palin. And he showed too much of that to Butters. And now Stewart on a chase. Oh, and he's got the legs of Evans, and the tackle from the back. Well, Stewart thinks it should have been a free kick for Tottenham just outside the penalty area. But George Courtney wave play on. David Evans was the defender who put in the tackle that one or two may feel just clipped the legs of Stewart and pulled him back. Bergson. Pursued by Abbott. This is Waddle. Steps away from trouble neatly. Fairclough. Mitchell Thomas, who was almost hospitalised by that ball from Fairclough. Now the Spurs defender forward. Mitchell Thomas. And he's pulled the cross behind most of them. This is Stewart. This is Waddle. Oh, there's a break on now. This is Banks. Palin. Banks again. Back to Palin. Abbott! Greg Abbott, the left back, with the best opportunity of the match, coming on that quick Bradford break. Banks and Palin involved. The little flick through by Banks was to try and find Palin. It came away from him and fell for the fullback, whose first time shot wasn't far enough to either side of Bobby Mims. And the gentleman to the right, as we look there, with his, he had his hand against his mouth. That's Brian Edwards, the Bradford physiotherapist, just looking up. The only man on the Bradford staff to have a FA Cup winners medal back in 1958 with Bolton. Now, Mark Leonard. Well, that might turn out to be a good ball out to Mitchell. Well, I think Mitchell let that go, thinking it had been deflected and would be a Bradford throw. George Courtney telling Mitchell Thomas to get on with it. And Wallace penalised. Bradford with a free kick. Just over 5 minutes to go to half-time, and still no score. And Guy Butters again has gone with the big centre forward Ormonroyd, and he's following him out of the penalty area. That's Ormonroyd's little flick header. Leonard! Well, that's the tactic for Bradford. Look for the big, tall, 6'4" Ian Ormonroyd, and those little flick-ons might just produce the goal. That one to Mark Leonard, who couldn't quite turn and get enough power into the shot to beat Bobby Mims. Tomlinson's come a long way out of his goal and gathered it well. And with 3.5 minutes to go to half-time, Bradford with another free kick. Mark Leonard shouting instructions. And quickly taken out to Mitchell. Oh, it's a great goal! Spurs caught absolutely cold. Well, that's the goal that Bradford have been looking for. And didn't they catch Tottenham on their heels? Spurs were walking back into defensive positions. I think it was Mick Kennedy who took the free kick so quickly. He just played it out right. There it is. It is Kennedy, the captain, and he spotted Mitchell, the fullback, coming up, whose shot wasn't hit all that strong, but it was perfectly placed wide of Mims. Bradford ahead 1-0. And that is exactly what this third-round cup tie required. Well, we're going to Wembley is the chant from the Bradford crowd, and with their side already into the quarter-finals of the Littlewoods Cup and leading First Division Tottenham 1-0 at half-time in this third-round FA Cup tie, they may well prove to be right. Terry Venables with lots to think about as a result of that goal by Brian Mitchell, and that really has ignited this match. There are many thousands of Bradford fans who couldn't get a ticket for what may well prove to be another famous giant-killing act by their side. But if you've got a football, well, you can still pass the afternoon. Experienced era international Chris Hughton on at the start of the second half for Tottenham, replacing the Icelandic international Gudni Bergson. And that's meant Tottenham have had to reshape, and Chris Hughton has gone to left-back. 30 years of age, capped by error 37 times. And Tottenham have never gone out of the FA Cup in the third round for the last 11 seasons. Stewart got a little push in the back then from David Evans as that ball dropped. And Spurs in turn have taken the free kick quickly. Waddle! Oh, out from under the goalposts. And Banks, I think, was the saviour then. Leonard pops up on the right, shadowed by Fairclough. And that'll be Bradford's throw. Mark Leonard switching sides. Kennedy with the throw. Kennedy again. Away by Fenwick. Waddle. For Stewart to chase, with Jackson in attendance. He's got Walsh to aim at, and Mitchell's arrived. Paul Allen. Well, they've come out fired up at the start of the second half, Tottenham, and they'll know they've got to get back into this match quickly. Fenwick. Looking for Mitchell Thomas. Edward Crossgoal. Walsh! Well, he's not the biggest player, Paul Walsh, and he didn't do enough with that to test Tomlinson. Mitchell Thomas popping up on the right now. He's gone to right back to replace Gudni Bergson, taken off at half-time. Evans puts it into touch. Walsh. Looking for Mitchell Thomas. Allen. Going away by Jackson. To Mark Leonard. Popping up all over the field, Mark Leonard. Oh, that's a blatant obstruction, but George Courtney waves things on. Mitchell Thomas. Stewart! Oh, what a pity. It was a good decision by our FIFA referee, George Courtney, because it was an obvious attempt to the block, but he let Mitchell Thomas go on, and the cross to pick out Paul Stewart, well, it was perfect, wasn't it? It did not look a goal all the way, and just wide of that far post. Kennedy upended by Paul Allen. Leonard. Palin. Leonard, neat turn, but the flag's gone up. Won't count. The flag went up on this near side. And one would have to say, the linesman there, Terry Lynch, put the flag up immediately. So Greg Abbott disappointed, the goal doesn't count. And with 26 minutes left to play, it looks as though Tottenham are about to make a second substitution. Paul Moran getting ready, forward player. And this interruption will give Spurs the chance to bring him on. It's like Paul Allen, who's having his name taken by George Courtney, as Paul Moran comes on. Half of his 10 appearances this season have been as a substitute, as Allen gets the yellow card. Bradford are defending like tigers, and Fairclough was holding back Leonard. And, well, now there's a problem here. He's had words with Fairclough once in this match already. No doubt that he held back Mark Leonard. In fact, he's made a bit of a mess of his shorts. And Mark Leonard shows no modesty. And I suppose the professionals would reflect that there was little option that Fairclough had there. And it's the number 9 Ian Ormonroyd who's going off to be replaced by, I think it's number 12, Paul Jewell. Gets last-minute instructions. Four minutes left. Fairclough for Spurs. To Allen. To Waddle. Moran on the right. Now gone inside. And that looks like obstruction. Terry Fenwick's gone forward to protest, but I don't think Spurs could expect any more from that. It was fairly clear obstruction. That's given Spurs an indirect free kick just inside the penalty area. And Spurs have got 7 forward. Allen. Paul Allen's shot was always high and handsome. George Courtney looks at the watch. And there it is. A famous victory for Bradford, where others have fallen in the past. Now it's the turn of Tottenham, and who will relish a fourth-round draw that brings them to Valley Parade? Brian Mitchell's goal, a great strike just before half-time. Terry Venables walks away. It's disappointment and dismay for the Tottenham dressing room, but it's joy and celebration here. The lights are burning on the roads that lead to town, and there'll be celebrations here tonight. Make no mistake of that. A victory that was in no way a fluke, which was thoroughly deserved, and which Bradford can savour.
So another upset. Fair result, James?
Yes, got to confirm that. It was a stylish game, as Tony said. It wasn't a fluke. They played with some style, close game, and just came out on top. And I don't think Spurs' claim for a penalty was quite substantiated. It was close, good try, but no.
OK. Well, now Everton are one of the most successful cup teams of the 80s, but a difficult start to their campaign this time, away to one of the most improved sides in the country, West Bromwich Albion. Commentator at the Hawthorns, Barry Davis.
At 35.5, Brian Talbot looks little different from his cup-winning days. His style, though, is a little less rumbustious. Now he's more the organiser. As player-manager, his record is little short of amazing. But in his team, his left-back surpasses his cup record. Well, Arthur Albiston holds 3 winners' medals from his years with Manchester United. The changes in the usual team are forced by injury. Paul Bradshaw in goal and Wayne Dobbins at right back replace Stuart Naylor and Simeon Hodgson. Having worried all week about the ankle injury to their captain, Kevin Ratcliffe, Everton have now lost his defensive partner, Dave Watson, because of a back problem. So Pat Vanden Hauwe will play in the centre of the defence, wearing number 5. Alan Gunn, the referee, blows his first salvo of the afternoon. The First Division side in yellow attack the goal to our left and give an early feel of the ball to Neville Southall. Ratcliffe, who was doubtful yesterday, but has been past fit. Talbot. Lots and lots of room for Hopkins. Palmer waiting to go. Surely went too soon, but the flag stayed down. Goodman's okay, of course, from the throw. That's a peach of a cross, and that's a lovely goal. Anderson, the scorer. A quite superb cross. It passed the nearer Albion player, but set up nicely for Anderson to meet with his head and to give Albion the lead they hugely deserve. Nevin with the first counter. Peter Reid. Well, Everton will think about some fairly slack marking from the throw-in. But it was a quite superb cross by Don Goodman. Talbot. Gave himself unnecessary industry then, Brian Talbot. Sheedy. Looking for Trevor Stephen. And the linesman flagging on the far side. Play continues, referee acknowledged. And the flag came down. Oh, that's not the best of challenges. That could well have been an escape for West Bromwich Albion. Free kick has been given, and it's been given outside the area, and I must say that looked to me to be inside. Doesn't matter the direction the player was moving in. The challenge was a little wild. And a penalty is given. Well, the referee, by consulting his linesman, I am sure has come up with the correct decision. It was a wild challenge at a moment when there was no obvious danger. But that last fact is irrelevant. If it's a foul inside the area, a deliberate foul, it is a penalty. Sheedy takes it and scores. It's 1-1. Huge relief for the Everton team and their supporters. And the balance of play, they do not deserve to be level. But they were given the opportunity, and Kevin Sheedy took it with his usual aplomb. Goodman. And one feels that Brian Talbot may learn a great deal about his team this afternoon now, as a result of Sheedy scoring for the penalty spot. And it's 1-1 at half-time. And it ends with a conversation between the player-manager and the referee, who originally was going to give just a free kick. But instead, Sheedy, now coming off with Talbot, was given the chance on the penalty spot, which he took to nullify the goal scored earlier by the injured Colin Anderson. Half-time, and a great deal for the crowd to talk about. 1-1. Everton went into the match as the 9-1 third favourites to win the cup. Albion at 100-1. But certainly the first half was no reflection at all on those odds. Times when White doesn't seem to have judged the jump right, but has in fact. Goodman again, Paskin in the middle, Palmer going there as well, so is Hopkins. Goodman all on his own, it's a fine save, comes to Paskin, and it was Hopkins' shot, I think, that was saved by the feet of Southall. Not for the first time the Welsh international goalkeeper keeps his team in the contest. They were queuing up then to put that one away. But they couldn't find the right one to finish. Free kick is given. Great start from Neville Southall. Goodman, who made the gap, went straight through the middle, tried to aim it wide of the goalkeeper. And from the parry, there were two players waiting to beat Southall. But in the end, the goalkeeper was the victor again to deny Hopkins. Talbot has got 6 players in the area, comes out himself. Alberston takes it. Met by Sheedy. Back by Palmer. Met by Poynton. Dobbins taking his time. Ratcliffe with a hand up there from Goodman. And the referee quite rightly gives the free kick. And Ratcliffe not prepared to take an action which he clearly thought was insincere. Mr. Gunn encouraging Everton to get on with it. For Paskin, but Ratcliffe has this covered. He's got a lot of skill, tall man, deceptive stride, goes either way. Goodman, up and under from Snodden, comes to Cotty, and the referee says Goal kick. Oh, they won't complain at the Hawthorns, but they may well complain at Goodison. But the referee had the best view from the ground. He was behind the play, admittedly, which isn't always the best angle, but he said no. Nevin. Good play. And a bit too precise from Kevin Sheedy. At least he tried to be precise, but some good play by Pat Nevin. But Sheedy seemed to me to want to really stick the label on it, and wasn't able to keep it down. Clark. Nevin. Good play. Clark. That's a great stop. And over the top by Cotty. That's his third good save in the match. And it looked easier to put it in than over, but he had to stretch for it. And the attendance is 31,186, which means that the receipts will top £100,000 and clearly set a new record. Alveston. Out by Bracewell. Away by Tony Cotty. Alveston. Robson. Palmer had started to move the other way. A long throw coming up from Stacey North, and it could be Albion's last chance. Three Everton players go to meet it, and all the players will go to Goodison Park for a replay next Wednesday. Talbot's side, who had all but a 5-minute spell of the first half, but in the second it was an even contest with opportunities at either end, both goalkeepers making excellent saves. And Cotty, who thought he might have had a penalty, then heading over an empty goal. So 1-1 it is, but the manner of the draw being produced will disappoint the Albion supporters after their superb start to the contest. But in the end, 1-1 is about right.
Well, another good match, Jim, but a couple of penalty incidents for you to talk about this time.
Excellent match. At first, let's have a look at the penalty that was. And the thing to learn from that, I think, was Trevor Stephen, first of all, who took the ball across the corner of the penalty area. Very wise thing for a forward to do, because it created a situation where quite clearly from here, Gary Robson, not a good day for the Robson family, pulled him down in the area. But the referee, I think, at first thought it was outside, and he was persuaded to go and talk to the linesman. And a lot of people would say that he shouldn't have changed his mind in this situation, but he's obviously known that it was a foul, and he's now checking, is it in the area, is it out? It's in the area, and a penalty resulted from it. Now, as I say, there are two schools of thought. My own one is that I like to see justice done, even if it takes a little bit of time. Now, the next one was the one that wasn't, the penalty that wasn't, or it wasn't given. Here we see Tony Cotty from this angle, and the sort of angle that the referee had, coming down quite splendidly at the end of the day. But now have a look at the angle the referee didn't get from our remote camera. There's a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen the other going on there. The dive is made, and does that left hand pull his left foot? I think he does. And from this decision, it was a clear penalty. But I'm afraid the referee didn't have the same view that we did, Des.
Well, you said it was a bad day for the Robson family, Jim. Manchester United drew 0-0 with QPR today, and their captain, Brian Robson, was stretchered off. Tonight's bulletin, though, he has concussion with nothing broken, but he stays in hospital until Tuesday and misses Wednesday's replay at Loftus Road. Well, now with other stories, here's Gerald Sinstadt.
it wasn't only the day of non-league underdogs. The 4th Division didn't let protocol disturb them either. While bottom club Colchester were winning at Shrewsbury, Grimsby surprised themselves and astonished Middlesbrough. Bernie Slaven put the 1st Division side ahead shortly before half-time. And that was the position when Mark North came on with 20 minutes to go. The first time the ball reached him, North turned smartly to equalise. 2 minutes from time, it was North again. In the right place, at the right time, with a diving header. Previously, Grimsby had won only once in 13 away games. Wimbledon's Terry Gibson was the smallest man on the field at Birmingham, but when Vinnie Jones flicked on the corner, it was Gibson's header at the far post that put the cup holders into Monday's draw. Last season's beaten finalists, Liverpool, went to Carlisle, a sentimental return for Peter Beardsley, who started his league career at Brunton Park. But Peter left Carlisle 10 years ago, and sentiment in football barely outlasts a change of shirt. Beardsley had the shot that Dave McKellar parried for John Barnes to score the first. Then it was Beardsley combining with Barnes for Steve McMahon to make it 2-0. And just to rub it in, Beardsley played a 1-2 with John Aldridge before slipping McMahon in again for Liverpool's third.
Well, the cup's not yet over because, of course, tomorrow afternoon it's live. West Ham against Arsenal from Upton Park, 3 o'clock. And on Monday morning, the draw, live 7:45. That's in breakfast time. But, of course, already the cup has produced precisely what we expect from it, the largely unexpected. It's all a question of if. Goodbye.
If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing left in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, or lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth, and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.